Alright, where am I? There I am. Well, I'm actually very small. Why am I... Now I'm big. Okay, anyways, we are back with ranking more of the platforms in Hollow Knight. Today we are going to be doing Fog Canyon. Just a reminder, I'm looking through the lens of both a speedrunner, a kind of like a challenge runner as well, but also I want to view these platforms in the eyes of someone who's maybe playing this for the first time. So everything might be a little bit, let's see, a little bit skewed. Just because you think, oh, this was a good platform, you might think it might be ranked higher, when as someone who speedruns this game, I might think it's a little bit less than that, or vice versa. So take it with a grain of salt. And as usual, I'm going to be ranking this out of 10, and it has to be an individualized floating platform. So something that's connected to the wall or another walkable surface does not count. And we're going to be ranking all of the platforms in Fog Canyon today. You see a little bit closely, this is where the outline is. This is how big Fog Canyon is. However, this is actually not as big as the other areas. So this is actually going to be one of the shorter ones. Thankfully, my voice is going to be well preserved, or at least somewhat preserved compared to the other ones. I want to give this one a 7.5, mainly because this is the first platform, and immediately upon entering, you will see danger, danger, danger. And you're like, by golly, I'm glad that I am on this platform and not falling into danger. But before we move on, there's another series of platforms right here. And these platforms are actually really hard. This one specifically, this first platform, I'll actually outline these ones because they're a little bit more difficult to see. I guess the resolution is not the best, so it's a little bit hard. But I'm going to outline these platforms just so you're able to see them more clearly. I want to give this one, let's say, an 8, because this little part right here, before entering in, it's actually hidden. So it's blocked off for a little bit, but the moment you go in, you actually get revealed this entire small subsection, and then this is our first platform. Now, because these guys do explode, this is why I like this one very much, because it teaches you, like, hey, don't hit this guy. You are safe here, you have to wait. It's a learning platform. Unlike this one gets a 5 because this little jellyfish, right? Technically, his hitbox is this big, and he kind of moves back and forth, up and down. He kind of floats around, but because of that, he might just accidentally hit you while you are standing right here. So it's like, oh, dude, this sucks. So I want to give this one a 5 because you naturally might get hit by that one while trying to plan out your next point of attack to continue going down. And, you know, in Hollow Knight, the first rule is always to jump at everything, and the second rule is always to hit everything. And especially if you get hit by something, your natural response is to hit it back. But this platform right here, this platform is a very good platform. I'm actually going to give this one a 9. And the reason is because that little item right there is I believe... Wait, no, I'm getting this mixed up with a different one. This one is an 8. This one's an 8. I thought this was a Charm Notch platform, and I was like, oh, that's so good. But it's not, unfortunately. So this one is an 8 because it gives you a lot of money. I forgot what item is actually on this. If you were to go there, this is a Hollowness seal, which I believe is worth 450 Geo when you sell it to Relic Seeker Lem. So this is already a decent item, but it's not the best. So you go there and you realize, oh, I came here just for an item, or you realize how much it's worth and think, wow, a free 400 Geo, that's like beating a boss. So that's what I want to give this one. Again, if a platform is just there simply for the sake that, you know, it's there to get to the next platform, probably gonna get a little bit of a lower rating. And then there's this thing. Technically, visually, yes, it already just out of question because it's connected to the floor and the walls. But I do want to kind of give this a proper rating because this is where you get a Charm Notch. So I'm gonna say that this one gets a C out of 10. For Charm Notch, out of 10. This is very nice. This is a difficult area because just look at all these explosions. Look at all of them. There's so many explosions. But it's worth it because you get a Charm Notch, and that's very, very... There's one platform here. This is the most average platform. And because it is the most average platform, don't forget, every in the ranking, 0 always has to be the worst, or 1, and 10 always has to be the best. Therefore, the most average should be 5. This is the most average platform. I don't think there's one on this side for some reason. And then in this room, where's Teacher Archive, where one of the bosses and one of the dreamers is held, there are these ones. They are literally just there for you to, you know, go like this and leave. That's the only purpose of them being there. And so because, you know, they're not even that cool of platforms, I'm going to give them both a 4. I think they're not really worthy of anything higher, even if you might argue that. You'll notice, I guess technically you probably should have noticed already, but there is acid in this area. And if you don't have Isthmus Tear, this place becomes a lot harder. But if you do have Isthmus Tear, it becomes very easy to avoid these explosions, and you can just kind of, you know, swim along and continue. Something I do want to point out, and this is something that not a lot of people actually figured out. I figured this out by accident. These exploding jellyfish, if you pogo them, right, you nail swing downwards on them, they will fall directly into the acid and fizzle out. They will not explode, they will not chase after you, it is safe. I did not realize that until after a very long time, and I was like, oh, well then this place is no longer that scary. Granted, they have to actually land in the water, right? Say there was one like right here, right? If you pogo on this one and it lands into the platform, well then you're still not safe, so let's be careful. I believe this is a room with Cornifer. Yep, there he is. Our good old bud. You probably should have double jump at the very least, because that's the only way you can get up here. Otherwise, you will not be able to reach him, I think, at all. Or at least not without some weird hope that you pogo off him and then dash. I'm not entirely sure. It's been a while since I've even been in this room in the first place. But because of that, I think this platform specifically will get a 7 because it leads you to Cornifer. I think this one will get a 4.5 because there's immediately 2 dangers that you want to overcome and pass through to continue on forward, or I guess continue backwards, depending on which way you're entering this room from. This one probably gets a 5. This one probably gets a 5.5. Mainly because it's a bit longer than the other ones, but you're also more free from danger. Our next couple of platforms in this area are also very, let's say, difficultly placed because this is such an odd area. It's hard to maneuver properly, I suppose. If you don't have double jump or mantis claw, then trying to get out of this area is very, very annoying. And so because of that, I'm going to try to rank these platforms in light of that as well. So this one is actually pretty decent. I think that's a 6. This one will probably get a 5. This one will probably get a 5. Personally, I don't really like this platform. Probably because it's in relationship to this part of the wall right here. It makes it feel very cramped. I don't like that. So even in a speedrunner sense, it doesn't bother me very much. But when I was like as a casual, I felt like I can't see enough of my surroundings. So I'm gonna give this one a 4. If I'm not mistaken, there are 2 platforms, one right here, one right here. They're okay, they're good. 5 and a 5, I guess. Just average platforms, there's nothing inherently bad about them, but there's nothing really, you know, like striving. These are good platforms going for them. So I think they're just kind of okay. In this area, obviously there's a stag, there's a willow. Adorable little thing. But there's a lot of platforms here too. And honestly, I don't like these platforms. I kind of don't. A lot of people might say like, oh, this is kind of like it's a runic. It's very, you know, like ancient city vibes. And I'm like, I don't like it. I really don't like it. So I might be rating this a little bit less than you might like. But recently I have been doing a no move challenge in Hollow Knight. This place is so annoying to get out of. Like, I didn't realize how difficult it was. So I'll be a little bit forgiving because obviously, you know, most people are playing this game with the ability to move left or right. So I'm also going to reflect that as well. Really all that these are. I wish they could be better. I definitely don't wish they could be worse, because they very much easily could be worse. But they're just kind of there. It's the most average place. I feel like Fog Canyon is the most average place in terms of platforms. It's just platforms. Nothing I can do about that. This area is actually kind of difficult because if you look closely, there are charged Lumaflies here, 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 here. There's one here. There's one here. And there's one here. There's a lot. And so it can get a little bit annoying because, you know, it's like, shoot, where is everything? I don't know how to do things. So I'm going to be taking in light of that. I will also be taking into consideration if you don't have Isthmus here. That is what the harder part is. Because if you don't have Isthmus here, everything below you is danger. And if everything below you is in danger, these platforms become more and more of a lifeline. This one is a... Oh, I'm not gonna lie, I don't like this one. I'm gonna give it a 5. Actually, no, not a 5. I'm gonna give this one a 4. And the reason mainly is because, similar to this one, you can get hit by the charged Lumaflies. However, this one is difficult because you have to jump here and then jump here as quickly as possible. With this one, you can kind of sit here and obviously it's like, oh, just dash, just move to the left. But because you have to traverse the entirety span of that charged Lumafly area, it takes time. And more often than not, you'll get hit like right here. And there's a chance you might not be able to make it onto this platform. So because of that, this one gets a 4 because of its difficulty. But once you are up here, oh, you've made it. You are safe. Things are good. So this one, I'm going to give this one a 5.5. It is kind of a whatever platform, especially once you get good at platforming. But for, you know, average players, this is your lifeline. This is good. This is a 7. This is like your only safe platform in this entire area. It's so nice. It's good. This one is like, it's your safe platform, but not only is it larger than all the other ones, you have more walk space. But there's no danger. The only imminent danger is this charged Lumafly and that charged Lumafly, but both of them you can see very easily and you can time. So this is probably the best platform in this subsection, or this area, even though it's only a 7. Should have been an 8, you call rigged? Okay, you know what? Comparatively to this entire area, I will settle for a 7.5. I think, to be fair, I think that's a fair one. To be completely fair. Now, do I want to call it an 8? I don't think so. I think an 8 is, because other 8 platforms, they're a lot better than this one, I think. But comparatively, relative to the room it's in, yeah, I could very much argue for a 7.5. These are our last overworld platforms. And to be fair, I kind of find it funny. I find them very funny. They're just there. Is it even worth a 3? Because realistically speaking, no one's standing on this platform. Everyone's going to use this one. Or at least I don't know people who actually use this platform because this one is just objectively better. It's taller. It helps you get to the next platforms easier. Yeah, this one's probably a 2. I hate to do it. I really hate to have a 2, like a 2 out of 10 platform. But I just can't bring myself to bring it any higher. Now that I'm looking at it in that respect, this is probably a 4. This one's probably a 4 as well. Because again, their only purpose is that you can go up. That's it. And there's no danger in this room either. I hate to do it. But I can't give it any higher than that. I'm sorry. Technically, that's all of Fog Canyon. Well, asterisk. That's all of the overworld areas in Fog Canyon. We've already done everything here. But there are actually quite a bit of subsections in this area. So here's what we'll do. I'm going to go ahead and open a new one. Oh, to kind of explain. The Overgrown Mound is this little bit right here. This is where Howling Cliffs is, or not Howling Cliffs. This is where Howling Wraiths is located. One of the spells and arguably one of the better abilities in the entire game. Now in this area we have, what is it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 platforms. However, not all of them are created equal. And it's pretty obvious as to why. But immediately this platform is not that great. It's very limiting. If you get knocked off, unless you have like decent reaction time, most likely you're gonna fall into the spikes. This one is not a good platform because most of the time people will just skip that one and go here anyways. So again, this is not a good platform. This one probably gets like a... I think a 2 is fitting. I was gonna say a 1.5, but I think that's too low. So I think 2 or a 2.5, debatable, is worth it. This platform, actually, I don't know why it's there. Arguably, this platform is more useless than this one because at least this one you have a chance to land on it. No one's going here. Like, okay, this one, I might be able to see someone might want to go to that platform. But there's not really good reason to, because just by the layout of the room, the squids spawn like here-ish. They don't actually spawn in a place that's like, oh, you want to utilize the entirety of the room, like No Eyes. No, it's just kind of, they're there. And that's about it. So really, those two platforms on the left, they're kind of pointless. They're more of a hassle to get to, if anything. So this one, what's a worthy ranking of this one? Probably a 3. Probably I'm giving it a 3 because it's a little bit longer than, like, say, this platform that I'm currently standing on. But this platform is very bad. I don't like this platform. I think this one is worthy of a 1.5. It's just there. Like, I don't think I have ever actually stood on this platform, ever. It's a hassle. But anyways, that's this area, the Overgrown Mound. There is one last area in this, I guess, entirety of this place. I'm gonna merge all of them together, but I'm gonna go ahead and import all of their pictures. Okay, yeah, this is gonna be very jank. Just, oh shoot, it's already too jank. Gosh dang it. Okay, just trust me when I say this. They merge. Just trust me on that. Obviously, the Teacher's Archives is, you know, where you find Monomon, and you fight Umu, and it's located right here. It's kind of as a zoom out, just so you can see where it is. It's right there. And in this area, oh boy, if you don't have Isthmus here, this place might be very, very difficult. So I'm hoping you do. But this place also has some really good platforms as well. You could have moved the bench onto this one. Let's be real, the bench could have been on this platform, but they decided not to. I'm not sure why. But since the bench is on this one, this is a good 8. This is a good one. Also because this is the only bench of its kind. I know, it looks very, bitty, it looks very gritty, but that's just because of the resolution. If you were to actually look at this bench in its entirety, this is based on Monomon, and a little bit of inspiration from Quirrell. This is the only bench with its design. And so that makes this, it's special. That's why I want to give this one an 8. Doesn't really serve much other purpose, but I think it's really good. This one. This platform specifically. Not a great platform. Not only are there two very explosive creatures right next to it, there's also a charged Lumafly on top of it. I actually don't think anyone has ever used this platform. The only reason why you'd use it is to get over here, or some lore that you kind of can't even read. It's not a good platform. Probably, it's a 1.5 at best. honestly. Its sole purpose is that you can try to read this lore, even though you technically can't because it's garbled. It's not good. This platform is good, though. This is actually a pretty decent platform. I'm going to give it a 6.5. The only reason why I'm not giving it a 7 is because of the charged Lumafly right here. Although you can stand like right here where the 6 is to kind of avoid it. So I'm going to keep it real with you. This middle platform, the biggest platform, this is your safe haven. This is an 8.5. It's a good platform. This is always your reliable. I feel like whenever you're dodging attacks, you will always make some kind of circle, perhaps. But you'll always end up back there. You will always end up back at this location. Arguably, this one right above it is also really good. This one probably gets a 7.5. It's also a very good centralized platform. You'll probably always be using this one at some point in time. In this fight, I suppose. This platform, however, even though it is centered, it's not as good. It's good, but it's not as good. They're definitely not 5s because they're not your average platforms. So I'm going to give all of them a 6. What I have noticed, though, recently, because I have been doing my no movement challenge and I can only move via dashes, wall, jumps, and whatnot, these two platforms specifically are very good. And this might be helpful for especially, casual players, but something I've noticed. There is no attack that is capable of hitting you if you camp these two spots on, of this room. Unless Umu does its, charged Lumafly attack that follows where you go. But if it just does normal attacks, it will never be able to hit here, like this area. So you can just kind of camp around this area and you'll never be hit. So that's just my opinion on them. Take how you want to take it. If you think this should have been better, should have been lower, up to you, but this is how I see this area. And obviously below this area there are no more platforms. So really, this is everything. This is probably one of the shortest areas in the entire game, comparatively to all the other ones. I think... Actually, hold on. I should have counted all of the platforms. In Fog Canyon, comparatively, especially to all the other ones, there was only about... 92. Less than 100. Almost every single area has more than 100. This is the only one that's less than that. So obviously this was a lot shorter. But, it's still good. I like this place. It's not a place that you often, visit. But it is an important place because it has a dreamer. So, yeah, honestly, there's a lot in this area, but there's also not a whole lot of platforms, which makes it easier for me, even if we're casual, it might be a little bit difficult. But yeah, that's the entirety of Fog Canyon. If there's, something you don't agree with, I'm sorry. This is just what I believe to be true. And if you want to argue for something, please do. Obviously, we didn't have that many great platforms. We had a couple of, 1.5s to 2s to 3s. But then again, it's not that much of an area. But yes, this is going to be going onto YouTube as the platform ranking continues. So, if you like this, maybe like and subscribe. And comment which area you think I should do next. I still have a lot. And I'm dreading some of them. Oh my god, I'm... Kingdom's Edge? Holy crap, I'm not ready for that. But this was all of the platforms. Yeah.